Rain or shine, on a Saturday morning in March 2009, something important was happening by the city dock in Annapolis, Maryland. In the heart of my hometown, citizens were gathering to be a part of my announcement of candidacy to be the next mayor of the city of Annapolis.
I was really honored when Josh asked me to say a couple words, so I'm going to try to limit it to a couple words. The first is homegrown. You know how we all wait for that July and August tomatoes that are only grown in this county? Well, we have a leader who was born in this town and grew up here. He's seen the issues from this high, 2 feet, and he's seen it from 6 feet. It's not the only trait, but it's an important trait. If we look at where this city needs to have the future, you find it in both the homegrown and the brilliant management of a young man and leader with proven experience, and I'm here to support Josh.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for coming out here, for braving the weather to be here so I can share with you my vision for Annapolis and why I'm running. This is an exciting time for Annapolis. It is a challenging time. Annapolis faces some tough decisions ahead. But it's an exciting time because elections are about the future. And Annapolis has a great future ahead of it. And when I think about why I'm running and why Annapolis is so special, there's a lot of reasons. It's in the water behind us. It's in this historic architecture that we treasure. It's in the neighborhoods that we live in. But really what makes Annapolis so special and what makes it home for us is the sense of community and the sense of connection that we feel to it. And so my administration will strengthen the connection we feel with Annapolis by building on the strengths of Annapolis. Even though our population has not grown all that much over the past 20, 30 years, it has become a much more cosmopolitan town. And the developers who work here are not just the local guys anymore. There's regional and national and international players. And Annapolis needs a mayor who's able to sit across the table from the big boys and fight for and protect the community's interest. More than that, though, the mark of an effective mayor is someone who can work with the developers and work with the residents and shape positive growth that enhances the community. Another thing I'm going to make sure the city does when we review development plans is hold not just public sector projects, but private sector projects to the highest environmental standards. Annapolis has 16 miles of shoreline. We are all here, we all love the bay, and everything, as we well know, everything that we do on the land filters down into our creeks, into the Severn River, into the South River, and ultimately into the Chesapeake Bay. So if we are going to be good stewards of this town and its 300 years of history, and if we're going to preserve what makes Annapolis special, one of the first things we have to do is make sure we protect the environment. Hand in hand with development is economic development. Now, this is a tough time for the country, and it's a tough time for Annapolis. We have, at last count, 18 or 19 vacant storefronts in downtown alone. We have businesses going under all over town. We have large new development right on our borders. And at times like this, it's worth looking back to when Annapolis confronted situations like this in the past. And in the 1960s, it's a very similar situation. There was brand new development on our borders. It was new and exciting. And Annapolitans were changing their buying habits, shopping at malls. There were a number of vacancies downtown. Not just downtown, but Annapolis as a whole was really trying to figure out what the direction was going to be that it was going to go in. And thanks to some advocates like St. Clair Wright, thanks to a mayor in his 30s with the name of Pip, and thanks to a lot of community leaders, they protected Annapolis by building on its strengths and enacted Annapolis' historic district ordinance. In so doing, they not only preserved the history of Annapolis, but they laid the foundation for Annapolis' economic redevelopment and revitalization in the decades to come. And that's how my administration is going to support economic development in the city, certainly by bringing in jobs, by preserving our tax base, but not just any jobs and not just any businesses. We're going to support local businesses, businesses that have a stake in the community, businesses who invest more of their dollar back into the community, so when we shop there, we're not just supporting those businesses, we're actually doing more to grow the local economy. All of these things that we value about Annapolis, its character, its neighborhoods, we can only enjoy when we feel safe in them. Now, public safety has been my professional passion, and for the past 8 years I've worked in the criminal justice system as a parole and probation agent supervising a caseload of convicted offenders, as a trainer for the Maryland Police and Correctional Training Commission, supporting the Hotspots or C-Safe program that Angie talked about, and in my current position where I manage a multi-million-dollar Department of Justice grant to expand services to victims of crime all across this country. As mayor, I'm going to make sure that our police officers have the resources they need to clamp down on criminal activity in every neighborhood in Annapolis. Local government is the level of government that is closest to the people. It interacts with us every day, and we interact with local government every day, whether we realize it or not. My administration is going to do things a little differently and a little better. First off, taxpayers have a right to know that the city is spending their money efficiently and effectively. As mayor, I'm going to implement a competitive bidding process for all major city contracts, even those that are awarded by the mayor's office. Taxpayers also need to know that there's transparency in who the city government spends its money for. And as mayor, I'm going to make sure that the city discloses all of the relationships that the principals of contractors and consultants have with city officials and city employees, so that taxpayers know what's going on. And so much of the time, there aren't shenanigans going on, there's not wrongdoing going on, but the lack of communication and the lack of information is a problem, and my administration's going to change that. And you won't need to go down to City Hall to request that information because I'm going to put it online. Annapolis is a very special town. Let's face it, we are not some cookie-cutter suburb that you can find anywhere in America. We have been shaped by 300 years of history. And all of us choose to live here for different reasons. Those reasons reflect the connections that we feel. It's the connections with the water, with our history, with our neighborhoods, and with each other. And my hope is that when my girls and their generation look back and take stock of the decisions we have made and the actions we have taken, I want them to know that we have done our part to pass along the best of Annapolis to them. I want them to know that we have done our part to preserve what's best about Annapolis for them. And I want them to be able to feel the same sense of community and the same connection that we feel to Annapolis. I want you to imagine the Annapolis that you want to see. And I hope you will join this campaign as we write the next chapter in our history together. Elections are about the future, and this is our opportunity to shape it. Thank you. So much of that depends on the style, the management style of the mayor.